Hi everybody, if you're new here, welcome to my channel, and if not, then welcome back to another one of my videos. I just want to add a note that this shirt does have a very low neck. It at least has a scoop, okay? It's there, it's just off the camera. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my September wrap up. I am actually filming a few videos today because I just recovered from COVID and I'm like getting back in the filming mood and I just want to like pump out some content because I disappeared there for a hot minute. But anyway, this is the one that I am most excited to film because I had some hits this month, guys, and I had some fucking misses. So I want to talk about them. I don't know why, but these are recently becoming my favorite videos to film. I just like talking about all the tea and talking about my thoughts on it. So I will say that my reviews are very discombobulated. I was watching one of my wrap-ups the other day and I was like, whoa, she really doesn't talk about the point, does she? And so these are my real opinions, right? My like raw thoughts. So they're not going to be very like together. I don't know how to say it. They're going to be very discombobulated. Anyway, that's what I should preface my wrap-up videos with because like that's the reality. Anyway, we're going to jump in now because I do have quite a lot of books that I read. I'm very happy to report that I read 20 this month, and that's the most that I read in the past like 5 months. And yes, some of those were DNFs, quite a lot of them. So I can't quite say like I read them all, but anyway, I still count the majority of my DNFs as read, especially if I like finished half of it. But we're gonna get into it now. I'm gonna pull up Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stick around for the Halloween content I have coming. Let's get into these. I actually do know the first one that I read at the beginning of the month. And oh my god, I'm scrolling through some of the books that I read and I'm just like so excited to talk about them. First, I read Dark Poison by Bella Jewel, and this one I think I started it like literally on September 1st. It was so good. It's a biker romance, good girl, bad boy, and I'm pretty sure it was college too, but it feels like that college romance and like good girl, bad boy romance that we all started out with, okay? But it's better than that. It's so good. I've always, since I like left behind my high school good girl, bad boy like glory days, I guess, that was like early 2021, I think. But anyway, since I left those days behind, I've really been missing them, honestly. And this book, I feel like got me there, but with like an added depth of finesse, I guess. They just feel like those days, but better. And I lived for this book. I'm honestly so glad she wrote this because it brought me so much joy to read it. Because I did try and read like a typical good girl, bad boy high school romance that I would have absolutely devoured like earlier on in my reading career, I guess. But it just didn't hit and I ended up hating it. So this one, oh my god, it was so good. I'm so glad she made this one. Anyway, I did buy it. It's right over there, but my camera doesn't like white books, so I can't show you guys it. But anyway, beautiful cover, beautiful story. Ace is like the typical bad boy, and like his name's Ace. I'm pretty sure his name's Ace. We gotta confirm that actually. His name's irrelevant. Anyway, it's so good. It really is. It ended on a cliffhanger because I'm pretty sure this is a duology. I need to talk about that cliffhanger, but I'm gonna refrain from doing so. But there's a huge cliffhanger at the end, just when they're like finally getting together because they have some sort of hate-love dynamic, and then they finally get together and you're like, thank the Lord. Oh my god, you guys, it was so good. I need that next book now, and I'm pretty sure it's coming out soon, so I don't have to wait too long. But I absolutely loved it, and I rated it 4.5 stars, yes, and 4 stars on the spice scale. And then the next book that I read, or the next few books that I read, were actually for a vlog, so I'm not going to talk too much about them, but I read the Never King series by Nikki St. Crow. The first one, I kind of enjoyed it. I was like, oh, interesting premise. I feel like this could be good. Great book for spooky season. Wanted to jump on it for a vlog, but honestly, it wasn't all that much. I rated it 4 stars, and then probably like just below 4 on the spice scale. Was interesting, just like not captivating enough as I wanted it to be. But then the next book, it's called The Dark One. Oh, I didn't like that at all. It was just downhill from the book before. It felt like I needed to not take it seriously, and I couldn't do that. Basically, I know a lot of people who love this one. One in particular, Yaz, my friend from Bookstagram. You can find her on Instagram as Yaz Book Page or Yaz Art Page. Yaz is Y-A-S. Anyway, shout out Yaz. She got me on this one because I'm pretty sure she got like an arc of it or something. I saw it and I was like, oh girl, that sounds great. So I know she loved it, and so I tried it out. I couldn't do it, but she commented on one of my videos. She's like, I was so excited to see you reading this, but I totally understand your thoughts on it. Like, I love this because I could like suspend my reality scale for it. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you need to do when you're reading these books. I just couldn't do that. So I didn't love it that much. Probably take my bank card out of my phone case so y'all don't see that shit. The second one I rated 3 stars and then probably like 3 something on the spice scale, but I didn't finish the third one. Sorry, I for some reason thought I finished the third one. It was so bad that I didn't feel like continuing. Full thoughts are in that vlog, so I don't really want to say more, but I didn't really feel like continuing it. So go check out that vlog if you want to see my thoughts. I almost fell trying to get this book. The next book that I read, I wanted to get in paperback because it's so fucking cute, and that one is Skeletons of Society by Marie Maravilla. I don't know if I'm saying that right. She is a newer author, I think, and I found this book. I don't know how I found it. I think I actually found her on Instagram, and then I found it. Oh my god, I also read this for the vlog, so my full thoughts are in there, but I need to like gush about it for a hot minute. So this is a bad boy, bad girl romance. We love those. The best part about this one is that like he is kind of like the good guy in this scenario. Like she will chop somebody's finger off, but he's like, don't talk to her like that or she'll chop your finger off, right? He's like beside her holding her hand, but like lets her walk in front, but also is there when she needs somebody to support her, you know? I lived for that dynamic. That was so good. So it's also Cartel and Motorcycle Club. That mix, guys, that is so good. So I really enjoyed it. The heroine's name is Ryan. Like so much about this was just so unique and everything I wanted and everything I've been looking for. And I feel like this book, like I said, it's something I've been searching for a long time. And when I found it, I was just like, I'm so happy right now. So highly enjoyed this one, highly recommend it. Full thoughts are in that vlog. I had to gush about it though. After I read that, I took a break from the vlogging because I had some extended family members here and I was like, I don't really want to vlog when we're like traveling around showing them places. So I read Air by Katie Robert. This is book 2 in her Bloodline Vampire series. I just recommended the series in my paranormal recommendation video, which was my last video, but this book, I picked up book 1 last September, dropped it because the second one wasn't out yet, I think, or something like that, and I was like, I want to wait for the full series to be out and then I'll pick it back up. And then I delayed it because of spooky season, obviously. So picking the second one back up, it was a little disorientating. I was lost, let's just say that. I couldn't quite grasp it at the beginning, but once I did, it was really fun. I will say that I don't think this needed to be a full 3-book series, even though they are novellas. I just felt like it was just a little long for me. I don't know, I always say that though with books like that. I rated it 4 stars and probably like 3.75 on the spice scale. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't all that great. It kind of went a bit downhill from the first book, and I always forget to do this, but by the way, I rated Skeletons of Society 4 stars and 3.25, 3.5 on the spice scale because it's not all that spicy. That's another thing I said in the blog. Then after I read Air by Katie Robert, I read Queen by Katie Robert, and honestly, that last book, it just was hitting speed bumps as it fastly went downhill, you know? It was kind of a crash and burn. I did recommend the series. I was on the edge about recommending it, and I said that, but like, it was really great and it had some spooky vibes, and the paranormal aspect, in my humble opinion, was pretty great. So I enjoyed it, but I rated it 3 stars and probably like 3.5, almost 4 on the spice scale. But the next book I read, this is what I wanted to talk about, okay? This one and what other one? Oh my god, okay, we gotta start with this one. So I read The Do-Over by T.L. Swan. Yeah, it is The Do-Over. I was literally on Book Talk, I think, something like that. I'm not really on Book Talk, actually. Me personally, like, I don't have a Book Talk account anymore, like sharing books, because it was just too much work and I wanted to focus on my channel and my Instagram. But once I like deactivated that account, I kind of like didn't really stick on Book Talk, but sometimes on my personal account, I see it occasionally, you know, and I think I saw something about this book. And then a few days before that, I had somebody comment or maybe message me on Instagram, and they're like, girl, you need to read something by T.L. Swan. And I'm like, I'm in this spooky season mood right now, and I'm trying to stick to that. Like, is there any books that you would say are spooky? And they're like, not really, but I just really think you should read them. So I was like, okay. I got her on my radar, I guess, and I'm gonna keep her on my radar, but if I know somebody enjoys her and wants me to read her, it's higher up there. Anyway, I was on Book Talk, and I was like scrolling, and I saw something about The Do-Over, and I was like, I gotta read it. So I literally turned off my phone, hopped on my Kindle, and I was like, yeah, this one. We're reading it right now. And guys, it's like 500 pages. It's like 480, I think. Oh my god, that was first up a red flag. But then I started it and I was like, I am obsessed. I read it in 24 hours. I was ignoring my work for this book. It was so good, but at the same time, it was so bad. I don't know where the plot was going in this. They were traveling for like 70% of the book, and then they were apart and got together in the last like 5%. It was so random. I don't know what was going on. done. It was a hot mess, but I had so much fun reading it. Truly, this book made me laugh. This book made me smile. The hero in this is such an entitled asshole, but then he's like so funny, and then there's a lot of character growth for both of them. But I loved it so much. It gave me so many fun vibes, summer vibes all over. They're traveling. Guys, I loved it. I can't stop gushing about it. I also, on the other side of the coin, absolutely despised it. There were so many parts where I was like, I can't. Why did you take this direction in this book? It could have been so much better. Yes, it could have been less longer. It could have had less like plot directions that are all over the place. I don't remember what the hero's name was, but he could have been a better character. But honestly, I didn't give a fuck. I love this book so much. And I didn't rate it on Goodreads. I would rate it probably like 3.5 on the spice scale, or maybe even 3 actually, but I didn't rate it because it's a 6-star book and a 2-star book. And yeah, it was so good and I was literally addicted, but I can't make up my mind on what to rate it just because it was a hot mess, but I loved it so much and it brought me such joy to read it. And I will probably go back and finish the Miles High Club series or something that I think it's called, but I just need to finish spooky season first, and I could totally see myself coming back to it in November. But guys, it was so good. Anyway, after that, I DNF'd This Love Hurts by Nikita. Yeah, I started it. I think it's in like a college romance, but it's like apparently really dark, and I was like, may as well, let's give it a shot. And it wasn't good. The heroine, I had issues with her, and I think that's why I didn't like it. But I DNF'd it at 20%. And then I read These Monstrous Ties by KV Rose, and I read this for the vlog, so once again, I'll not say too much about it. You see how I like took a break from reading and then like hopped right back into that vlog? Hot mess of a vlog, as always. But yeah, I read this one. I started this one, sorry, last October, and I think it was like October 15th or something, and I put it down because it was slowing me down in my spooky season reading, and I wanted to pick it back up for the spooky season, so I bought it in order to like force myself to pick it back up, and it was so good. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, that's for sure, and the first like 20-30% is really slow, and it's really confusing. Didn't help that I jumped in where I left off last October, but really what made this book for me was the last 80%. It got so much better. It was so much better. I rated this one 4 stars. Not sure what I rated on the spice scale, probably like a 3. But then I read the next book in that series, and I don't remember what it's called. Pray for Scars, I'm pretty sure. And this one was a hot mess of a book. But once again, I think I was going through some sort of phase where I was loving reading because I had so much fun reading it, but it wasn't that great. And I rated it 3 stars. The ending, it was crazy, but I enjoyed it, but it was crazy. I don't know my thoughts on it, and I see myself coming back to the series, but not this month. Definitely not in September. I mean, we're on the like last day of September. Maybe in October, but I don't know. It's a very enticing series, and the fact that the like biggest anti-hero in the series has his own book is like, we always love to see that, but I don't know if I'd come back to it. Anyway, I read that one, and my full thoughts are in the vlog. Full thoughts, of course, so check that out. Next, I read, Jesus, guys, I totally forgot to recommend this one in my last video. I'm so pissed. I might like hop back in and put that in there. Anyway, I read Blood and Vows, a dark paranormal romance. It's a novella, and it was quite fun. The heroine is like really lost, and she goes to like this bar and gets a little drunk and then like starts seeing things and then realizes it's real, and there's like a bunch of paranormal ties as always, but it was fun, it was short, and it was great. That's basically all I have to say about it. It was enjoyable, and I don't really have too many thoughts on it. I'd recommend it for paranormal. It's a novella. Check it off. It's Halloween TBR, if you know what I mean. And yeah, it was fun. I rated it 4 stars. And what did I rate it on the spice scale? I don't remember. It was a little bit forgettable. Like, I probably won't really remember it. But it was also weirdly slow burn for a novella. Like, it was different. It was unique, and I enjoyed it. And I'm very mad at myself that I did not recommend it in my last video. Guys, this is a literal nightmare. I have to keep switching out my camera batteries because I was irresponsible. Anyway, the next one. This is another one we're about to gush about, all right? This one, God of Malice, Rena Kent. Babe, I read a Rena Kent book last year, summer of last year, I want to say, and I actually read multiple of them, and they took me by surprise. They were some of the first darker books that I've read, and I know once I said I read my first dark romance book in September. That's a lie. I dabbled in it for like high school dark romance edition for like ever since I started reading romance, I think. So I take back my lie there. But anyway, what I was saying is I read a Rena Kent book back in 2021, and they were enjoyable, and it was in the series that has the characters that the spin-off series is based on. So I don't remember what that series was called. I do remember, nope, I don't, something Elite, I don't remember, but God of Malice, oh my god, you guys. First up, it's college-based. I was a little nervous, haven't read a college one in a very long time, but it's darker. I'm obsessed with this book, guys. So good. I see what the hype is about. I see it. It was so good. So, full thoughts in the vlog. I think I rounded off the vlog with this book. This was so good. It was steamy. It was kind of spooky. It was darker, and it had heavy topics in it, so check your triggers, but it was so good. I have no other things to check off the list, but it was so good, okay? The hero in this one is a, like, true psychopath, but in the book, it's pretty common for, like, the characters that go to college and they're, like, kind of friend group of children from other characters that Rena Kent has written. So there are a few psychopaths in that group, and I'm so excited. But in the book, they don't really say, like, oh my god, you're a psychopath, stop. They're like, I understand that you're neurodiverse, and how can I help you in that? And I'm just like, guys, this is great. I absolutely loved it. Their friend group is literally one of the best friend groups I've read. This is one of my favorite series that I've read, and I swear to God, this book has put me in a slump because I cannot find anything with these vibes. It was so good. It was legitimately, oh my god, probably my favorite read of the month along with The Do-Over, because it just brought me so much joy and I had so much fun reading it. Oh, by the way, I rated that 4.25 stars because it had a few little things here and there, full thoughts in that vlog, but I really enjoyed it. And then I also rated 3.75 on the spice scale. And then I read God of Pain, which is the next one, and it's a bit different plot. This one is more mafia focused because the heroine's parents are in the mafia from a mafia trilogy that Rena Kent had written before. Oh, that's another thing I want to say. The crossover between the characters she's written before and the characters that she's writing in that book was beautiful. I sometimes hate it because it feels like they aren't as in love as they are when you see their point of view, but that wasn't the case here. I loved it so much. And we got a few, like, point of views from it. It kind of reminded me of the Kingmaker series by Sophie Lark in the way that, like, you got the parents' point of views and it was like a true crossover series and it was beautiful. Anyway, God of Pain, a bit of a different dynamic, but I really, really enjoyed it. Like, it was great. I loved it. Shout out to my friend Kiana on Instagram. I'm gonna put her stuff here because I don't remember what her Instagram or like other social medias are, but she posted about this. She has like all the info on the new and like hot releases. Definitely go check her out. Her stuff's gonna be over here, but she posted something about this. I think it was like a snippet kind of when God of Pain first released on like September 15th or something, and first heard about it then. Actually, no, I'd seen God of Malice places, but I was like, it sounds kind of intriguing. But then when I read a God of Malice and loved it, I jumped straight into that next one, and it was so good. Like, I truly can't explain how much I love this one. The plot is so unique. The hero, Creighton, is like the dark, broody one, and it's like Grumpy Sunshine, and it's so good. I was living for these swoony moments, but it's also darker, and I was literally in heaven reading these. That's all I can say, okay? So that one I rated 4.25 as well. Honestly, I think God of Malice is 4.5 and God of Pain is 4.25 because I didn't enjoy it as much. Some of the stuff towards the end kind of annoyed me. I don't really remember what it was though, so I couldn't tell you, but I definitely liked God of Malice more looking back, but I rated it 4.5 on the spice scale as well because, guys, it was so good. And once again, shout out to Kiana for putting me on this series. Loved it. And I need that next book now. I know it's coming in November, but I literally think about this series every day and I need that book now, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't wait until they were all out so I could just binge the fuck out of them. But anyway, next book that I DNF'd actually was These Innocent Demons by Alex King. I was super excited to read this one. I had it on my Kindle and then the author messaged me and was like, hey, can I send you this book? I was kind of embarrassed because I thought she meant like, can I send it to your P.O. box, right? So I like gave her my P.O. box and she's like, oh, I just meant send it to your Kindle. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that'll be it. It's kind of low-key embarrassing talking about that. But anyway, she offered to send it to my Kindle, The Ark, which was weird because the book was already out. So I was like, what? I'm a little confused here. But I had it on my Kindle already. So I was just like, yeah, I'll read it. We like to support our newer authors. So I was giving it a shot. And I actually did not like it. And let's talk about it, okay? So this book is 9 parts long. Yeah, I'm like, what? Like, the most I can do is 3 parts, okay? It's like the first year of college, the second year of college, the third year of college, the fourth year of college, 4 years later, 8 years later, the end, epilogue part. And I'm like, what? That's not 9 parts, but there was 9 parts to it. And it was a clusterfuck. And I was so confused. It's dark romance, yes, but it was like the messy kind of dark romance. And to be honest, I skimmed most of it. Unfortunate because it was very like gothic and kind of like college goth vibes, and I think I could have loved it, but I didn't at all. And I rated it 3 stars because I did finish it. I probably should have rated it lower, but the next one is what really pissed me off. So I didn't rate the spice level on that because I didn't enjoy it, didn't recommend it, didn't feel the need to write the spice level. Next, I read Purgatory by K.L. Taylor Lane. My dog's staring at me through the door. Babes, do you want to come in? He's probably gonna like walk straight through my filming setup in a minute and then jump on my bed and make a bunch of noise. Anyway, Purgatory. I read this one because something was wrong with the Wi-Fi, I think, and this was the only book I had downloaded. Anyway, it's embarrassing how many times that has happened to me. It's Purgatory. Let's talk about it. Oh, Lord. There was some things in here that pissed me off, so let's get ready to rant, babe. First up, it's reverse harem, and not all the guys were in the first one, which actually I enjoy. I like that like kind of slow little thing, like building up to it, you know, but the heroine is like all them reverse harem girls. I try to be supportive, but I can't when she acts like this. I just like hate her to my core when a heroine acts like this. But she's like a psychopath and for like a crime family, and I don't even know. It's a mess, guys. There is some plot twists in there. I'm not gonna say them actually because it's a plot twist, but there's one thing that mainly pissed me off. The heroine being a mess pissed me off. The guys, sometimes I was just like, guys, what? But anyway, the one thing that pissed me off was a quote that the author wrote, and people beta read and arc read and okayed this. And I'm actually gonna preface this by saying, like, I know I got triggered by this, so if I wasn't triggered, I may have been in my like logical mind and being like, this might just been like a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. But she wrote in the heroine's point of view, the heroine said to somebody, I had more kills than the fucking government. And that just pissed me off. Onto the next planet, you know, like the government in Canada is responsible for mass genocide of First Nations children. I don't think you have more kills than them, babe. That's genocide. Oh, it pissed me off so much. And I definitely got really triggered by it because it's a conversation that's going on a lot where I live and in my family, which is great because it needs to be talked about. Anyway, that really pissed me off. It really, really pissed me off. And I gave that book a 2-star rating, which I have not done in a very long time, but overall, the book, I didn't enjoy it. That quote right there pissed me off. I gotta move on because I could literally keep saying that. But the book, I rated 2 stars. Wouldn't recommend it. Will never read it again. But I found it interesting because K.L. Taylor Lane wrote Hair on Mill, and I loved that one. I probably suspended my like realistic beliefs for that book, but anyway, I loved it. So I'm on the fence about whether I want to read more from her. But anyway, we're gonna move on because I need to move on. The next book I read was a duet called Blood. I think it's a few novellas amalgamated, but anyway, this is about a female serial killer. It's giving Lana Myers, but not as good, really. Lana Myers is from the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abby, by the way. If you don't know her, I don't know where you've been, but it was okay. It started off all right. The hero is a detective, and the heroine is like a nepotism baby whose parents died, and then she turned into a serial killer. And then it just got real messy. The plot went in crazy directions. For the second book, too, it just went like, wheel, 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 wheel. And I was just like, what is going on? And I didn't really care for the relationship. I didn't see the chemistry. I didn't see the point of them being together. And it wasn't all that. Honestly, there's not much more I can say about that. I rated the first one 4 stars and the second one 2 stars. I was in a bit of a mood after reading Purgatory, so I was a bit harsh on my rating, but I still stand by it, I think, because I just didn't like it, but I probably could have rated it 3 stars and was a bit harsh. Anyway, I didn't really enjoy those. I feel like I shouldn't have read those, but I read them because it's female serial killer and we love to see it, but in that one, we didn't like to see it. As you can tell, I think I was definitely pissed off by Purgatory because I just felt like that sentence was so tone deaf and it just ruined the entire mood that I had going for that book, which, to be honest, wasn't much in the first place. Anyway, the next book that I read, I finished last night, and I read it in 2 sittings. I read it in 1 night, and that was Brutal Intentions by Lilith Vincent. This was her newest release. Once again, shout out to Kiana. I arc read this one, posted it on her social media, her Instagram specifically, and I was like, you just solidified the fact that I'm gonna read this. And I was browsing through my Kindle, like, what do I want to read next? Because sometimes I procrastinate a book that's on my TBR so much that I don't read it, and then it ruins the reading experience. So I'm just like, I need something to just like throw in there or read real quick. And I was like, this one, it's perfect. So I, like I said, read it in 2 sittings. It was great. This one, Lilith Vincent wrote it while she was writing the last book in the pageant duet. And it's really dark, so she's like, I wanted to take a break and go into a lighter world when Crowned became too much for me. So I was like, I love that. Like, that was great. I don't know why I told you guys that, but anyway, Brutal Intentions is very taboo. It's an age gap. It's a stepdaughter-stepfather romance, and honestly, it's the first age gap that I've read in quite a while. Age gap or taboo romance, actually. Anyway, I loved it. It was pretty short. It's less than 300 pages, and I would say that I wish that there was more depth to it, but it's one of those fun time taboo reads that's like hot and spicy, steamy. It's taboo and it's quick and it's a good time. And this one is like mafia, but it's really light on the mafia. So it has like an arranged marriage, not for the 2 characters though, for the heroine's mom, because he's her stepfather, right? That was explaining to say. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. It did not have much depth, but it was a fun time. I rated it 4.25 stars and 4 on the spice scale. And actually, this one I read before. I read Brutal Intentions, but it showed on my Goodreads as the other way around, so I just went like that. Anyway, I DNF'd Halifax House at 60% because it was gothic, yes, and it was kind of spooky. I think it was like based in October, and this girl is like the shy girl but gets dragged to a party that's like very exclusive, and the guy that owns the like exclusive club or like party, or I think it's a club actually, is like, I want her. And it didn't seem like it was going anywhere, and it seemed like it would all be focused around that night, and I wasn't really into that, so I DNF'd it. I probably could have finished it. I probably should not have read it in the first place though, but I want to add that I actually finished the month off with Brutal Intentions, not Halifax House, okay? And I am currently reading A Ballad of Nightmares by Jack Whitney, and it's so far hitting. It's very gothic and like spooky, and I'm loving it already, but I'm not going to include that one in here because I'm only like 15% through. Anyway, that is the last of my reading wrap up for September. Thank you so much for watching. I hope my little rants and gushes were, whoops, that's my phone, enjoyable to watch. Basically, I just hope you had a good laugh along with me. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody's support. Happy spooky season, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon.